Hello, everybody. This is Fernando for the latest Ghost and Horror Story Encounters video. Once again, I'm mixing one of these in here while I'm continuing to do some of your suggestions, this time from the Mafia and Gangsters playlist. I wanted to bring this one back because I was reading a subreddit, once again, that's newly introduced to me called Backwoods Creepy. It's a pretty good subreddit. It seems to be a nice mishmash of things, but stuff that's very ambiguous. That's why I wanted to showcase this one here because I don't know if this is cryptids and monsters related or if it's something else along the lines of aliens, UFOs, or it could even be ghosts and spirits related. It's pretty creepy stuff, hence the name associated with the subreddit Backwoods Creepy. So I wanted to share it here, give my own thoughts and opinions on it afterward, and then see what you guys and gals think. But it comes from a user by the name of Bush Idol Boy 17, and then they titled theirs as Animal Cry Morphs into Man Screaming for Help. That's right. Whenever you read the rest of this information, you're going to get the heebie-jeebies just like I got because of the situation, the environment that he was in, and then also what happened exactly during that time period. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's share that info here. And here's what they state. I'm writing this post while the incident is still fresh in my mind. It occurred around midnight of Saturday, September 2nd, and each day that goes by, I feel more unsure about what I really heard that night. To preface, this took place in the Olympic Peninsula along the Hood Canal. My girlfriend's parents recently bought a beautiful riverfront property in a rural area down a private gravel road that has a few other houses here and there. Their property is heavily forested on all sides, though the neighbors' houses are vaguely visible to both the left and the right. The night was winding down after watching a movie. Everyone had gone to sleep while I lay awake playing on my phone. The windows were open, letting in the pleasant sound of the river bubbling outside. Close to midnight, I started hearing splashing in the river, which startled my dog but was easily explainable as elk or deer crossing the river since the area is very wild. However, after the splashing subsided, I started hearing a repeated animal cry that sounded like a sort of bellow mixed with a scream/yell. It's hard to remember exactly at this point in time, but it was deep, not like a cougar or fox screaming and also not as fast and condensed. Definitely odd, but still explainable as an animal. This happened for around maybe 10 minutes or so, intermittently with what sounded like a huffing or snorting sound. I was alert at this point, listening and trying to calm my dog, who was unsettled by the sound as well. As I listened, it started moving closer, at first sounding like it was across the river, but now on the right side of the house. As it moved closer, it transformed into what sounded like a human screaming help, but in the most deranged, unsettling way possible. Like it was screaming help but couldn't quite form or enunciate the words correctly. It literally gives me goosebumps thinking about it right now. At this point, I was thinking, what the F? And woke up my girlfriend. We listened together in silence and rushed to wake up her parents, where we both heard a pronounced help in that scream. Both dogs started going ballistic and the screaming stopped at some point in the commotion, so her parents didn't get a good grasp on the sound. After shining flashlights outside the window, we went downstairs and made sure all of the doors and windows were locked. After a sleepless night, we woke up and walked the perimeter or the property and found no sign of animals or humans. I was half expecting to see bloody human remains or something with how intense the screams were. I imagine that's what a person being axe murdered would sound like. At this point, I really regret not going outside, at least armed, to investigate, as I spent the past 2 days constantly racking my brain trying to figure out exactly what the F that was. I've looked into every animal sound out there and haven't found a single thing that actually sounds similar to what we heard that night. I'd probably think I imagined the whole thing if my girlfriend hadn't heard it as well. I'd love to hear any thoughts and or similar experiences from this community. TLDR, I heard an animal cry in the woods that morphed into a human audibly screaming help in the most deranged, insane way possible. Then that's it. That's everything from the user ID, Bush Idol Boy 17. So let's go ahead and let's talk about that here. Pretty creepy, right? Very unsettling. Here you have a situation where it's a location, Olympic Peninsula near the Hood Canal. If any of you know where that is, or you know the exact location, and there happens to be water, a body of water there, a river, then let me know. Is that something that's known for this type of activity? Does it have other type of weird creatures on there? But yeah, there they were. They just had that new riverfront property. That user was there, not sleeping, but the rest of them were sleeping, and he was awake, just playing on his phone. And then at midnight, that's when that sounded. So something started to make a sound like it was a weird scream, not a scream, but something along the lines of an animal cry. And then they stated that it was like a bellow mixed with a scream slash yell. But then shortly after 10 minutes of this, along with huffing and puffing and snorting, that's when they heard it morphed into the word help, but in the most unsettling, deranged way. Can you imagine that? The eyes on this person, the way they bugged out whenever they suddenly started to hear that. And now it was across the river, because the sound was again that it was crossing the river, like it was purposely doing that. And now it was to the right side of the house. And then he woke up everyone, and they in turn heard what was happening as well. No idea what was causing it. The dogs were going crazy, but they didn't dare go outside, rightfully so. I wouldn't go outside either on that situation. Just stay where you are, stay calm as you can be. And unless something tries to break through, then just let it pass. And it looks like that's what they did. And then the next morning they walked around, but they couldn't see what it was. They definitely heard it. They heard it morph into the word help. And that was it. So several of the users posting comments thought what I was thinking too. They stated that it could either be a skinwalker, which is possible, or it could either be a crawler as well. That's another possibility too. Both are known to be able to go around those locations and then mimic things. Another one was mentioning in something interesting involving Bigfoot. I don't know about that. I haven't heard something along those lines as far as Bigfoot mimicking those type of cries. Someone else was mentioning something more logical. They stated that it could have been a bear. Apparently bears, especially cubs, sound something like that. Like they can almost, not purposely, but almost by accident, where they mimic words, like human words, but it sounds like it's coming from an animal. And so that's one rationale. Or it could have been something else, even ghost spirits related. Who the hell knows? So that's why it's so vague, so mysterious. The fact that they never saw anything, not even a shadow, that's what makes it a little bit frustrating. I understand this user's frustration because they're wondering what happened, what could have caused it. But because they didn't go investigate, and again, rightfully so, it's going to remain a mystery to them forever. Now, the fact that the parents live there, can you imagine that? That's going to be so creepy. They're stuck. They bought that property. Now they've experienced it right then and there. So it's not like they're going to be able to get up and leave. They're going to have somebody buy it, or they're going to have to stick it out. And I have no idea how they're going to get around that situation. But that's creepy in of itself, but that's apparently the world that they're in now. But let me know what you guys and gals think. What could it be? All right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care.